Ahoj světe, dneska v reportu ze třetího dne Comic-Conu, ze závěrečného dne, začnu takovým krátkým monologem na téma komiksových autorů, kteří na Comic-Conu jsou přítomni. Mám k tomu pár postřehů. V prvé řadě musím tady organizátorům trošku vyčinit za to, nebo za to, jakým způsobem přistupují ke ohlašování skutečností, že daný autor vůbec nepřijede, nebo případně i daný filmový či seriálový host, protože bohužel je to vidět každý rok a letos je to vidět obzvlášť, že v některých případech se organizátoři ani neobtěžovali zveřejnit informaci, že ku příkladu Mirka Andolfová, která má na starosti právě třeba tuhletu Harley Quinn, takže vůbec nedorazí. Nenašli jste to nikde na jejich sociálních sítích, není to na webu. Prostě to jenom smazali z toho programu, její místo jí nenachystali v prostorech, kde ostatní autoři se nachází a zkrátka jenom doufali, že těch zájemců o setkání s ní a podepsání právě celé řady komiksů, které tady v Česku vyšly v češtině, tak že těch bude tak málo, že to nakonec nikomu moc nebude vadit a ztratí se to a vlastně to potenciální negativní PR, které by získali tím, že zveřejní informaci o tom, že ona nedorazí, tak se rozhodli prostě, že to tak nějak jako schovají pod koberec, budou se tvářit jako že nic a že my s tím budeme všichni v pohodě. No, v pohodě s tím člověk může být relativně ve chvíli, kdy se bavíme o nějakém hudebním festivalu, kde přijede třeba 100 kapel. Jo, ale jestliže se bavíme o Comic-Conu, kde těch autorů a tvůrců, ať už komiksových, anebo těch filmových a seriálových, je všeho všudy stěží 20, jo, tak tam si člověk všimne, že někdo schází. Jo, a to množství lidí, kteří letos schází, v podstatě nebere konce, mi tak trošku přijde, protože oproti původním plánům teďka na poslední chvíli bylo oznámeno, že nedorazí právě Mirka Andolfová, nedorazil Petr Kopl, což asi nikoho moc extra netrápí, protože toho máte možnost vidět v průběhu roku tady v Česku na celé řadě akcí, ale zrušila se debata s Anthony Danielsem, což určitě naštvalo všechny lidi, kteří přišli v kostýmech ze Star Wars na sobotní program a měli třeba pouze jenom sobotní vstupenky a pak zjistili, že ta debata se nekoná a bude nakonec jenom v neděli a opět ta komunikace směrem k fanouškům byla taková jako spíš nijaká. A ono to souvisí ostatně i s neúčastí Warwicka Davise, který měl dorazit i v tandemu vyloženě otec-syn. A když to zrušil jeden, tak už tehdy mi bylo tak trošku jasné, že to zruší asi i ten druhý, což se nakonec i stalo. Tak tam aspoň jako fajn, že vůbec dali informaci o tom, že ten ani jeden z nich nakonec nedorazí. Nicméně prostě zase, jo, na poslední chvíli a tváříš se, že se jako zas tak nic moc nestalo a potom tam ještě oznámíš, že tam bude místo toho debata s panem Ironsidem, jako tvářit se u toho, že je to vlastně bonusová debata a že dostáváš něco navíc ve chvíli, kdy ti 4 hvězdy nedorazí, jako to není dobrý prostě a ta krizová komunikace v tomhletom případě mi přijde naprosto tragická a špatná a jakkoliv prostě Comic-Con mám rád, fandím mu a jsem rád za to, že tady taková akce je a moc si přeju, aby mohla být i v následujících letech, tak tohleto všechno jsou věci, ze kterých je mi nablití a nechápu, že prostě nebo takhle, já to chápu, no, protože podle českých zákonů je to nastavené tak, že i kdyby jim nakrásně nedorazila půlka programu, tak vy nemáte nárok jakožto kupující a návštěvníci na nějakou kompenzaci. A v tomhletom případě si myslím, že to není tak úplně dobře a že by bylo nepoměrně fajn za prvé se jako správně omluvit a nebát se toho a za druhé prostě přijít s nějakou variantou kompenzace a říct třeba, že hele, prostě nedorazil ten a ten, jasně chápem, je to blbý, důvody můžou být všelijaké, ale můžeme si nakonec říct, že třeba, já nevím, příští rok budete mít slevu 500 na vstupenku nebo něco takového. Jo, a aby tam prostě nezůstala vyloženě taková ta pachuť, kterou já tam v tuhletu chvíli cítím a štve mě, že vlastně v tom mediálním prostoru má Comic-Con naprosto výsadní postavení ve směru toho, že se informuje o tom, že ta akce se koná, ale málo kdo už informuje o tom, jak to ve finále tam probíhá a že třeba všechny věci nejsou úplně super a že není úplně OK, když máte akci v narvaném O2 univerzu, kde se v podstatě nedá hnout v tu sobotu, protože je to absolutně poddimenzované ten prostor a že už dávno by bylo na místě se bavit o tom, jestli se to třeba nemá přesunout do kongresového centra na Vyšehradě a tak podobně. Jako to, že tady o takových věcech se nikdo nebaví, za mě není úplně OK. No nic, pojďme dál. Já jsem chtěl mluvit o těch autorech, tak ještě pár postřehů k nim. Takže Mirka teda nakonec nedorazila a všechno jsme to tahali tam zbytečně, ty její komiksy. No a potom tady máme Mikea Careyho. Mike Carey mi přišel docela fajn a takový postřeh k němu je, že tenhle ten autor série Meziřádky například, tak mi říkal, že já jsem mu zmiňoval, hele, zrovna jsem jako dočetl 5. knížku, mám už nakoupené všechny ostatní, ale řekni mi, jako jestli to ve finále začne dávat aspoň trošku smysl. Tak se zapřísáhal, že ano a že se to nakonec celé vysvětlí. Tak jsem na to zvědavý. Ale chtěl jsem mluvit hlavně o tom, že jsem měl možnost ho vidět potom, kdy se svojí manželkou šli se podívat na přednášku od Chrise Berryho z Červeného trpaslíka a bylo vidět, že Mike Carey je fakt velký fanda. Já jsem vlastně stál přímo za ním, kde tam organizátoři mu přinesli a jeho ženě židli navíc. A on celou dobu tam seděl a prostě úplně jsem si připadal, že on byl jak prvňáček, jak prostě nadšené dítě v první třídě, kdy na každý ten vtip se úplně nahlas smál a úplně tleskal tak jakože vzorně, jak prostě kdyby byl součástí nějaké nastoupené jednotky a evidentně z toho byl fakt nadšený. Byl jedním z těch prvních, kteří začínali tleskat vždycky za nějaký ten for a evidentně si to velmi užíval, takže to mě potěšilo, takové jako vyloženě dětské nadšení, které z něho bylo cítit. Z druhé strany potom tam byl třeba Esad Ribič, který má na starosti tady jednu z obálek právě třeba v kolosálním Conanovi, ale taky kreslil třeba Thor, zabiják bohu a další věci. To byl člověk, který mi přišel nejméně přívětivý k fanouškům, protože když jsem tam za ním přišel v pátek, tak to už se tak jako trošku balil, viděl, že tam mám nějaké 3 knížky v podpaží, které bych chtěl podepsat a už mě prostě poslal pryč, že odchází, že mám přijít zítra, což mě nevadí, když mám vstupenku na 3 dny, ale přece jenom kdybych měl jenom tu páteční, tak asi bych z toho byl trošku rozmrzelý a každopádně, když jsem tam potom přišel v sobotu a stál jsem frontu o stánek vedle, tak jsem viděl, že je to člověk, který k fanouškům nemá úplně nějak extra blízko a vlastně ho spíš tak trošku otravují, protože bylo vidět, že tam byla u něj fronta lidí, kteří čekali na podpis a on tam kreslil vlastně jeden z těch artů pro někoho, který měl samozřejmě jako draze zaplacený a tam bylo vidět, že prostě ti lidi tam stáli v té frontě, vyloženě jako už, že jo, je honil čas, protože byl tam další program a on místo toho, aby odložil ten štětec aspoň na chvíli, podepsal těch, já nevím, 5 lidí, co tam bylo a zase pokračoval, tak je nechal čekat a prostě dál vyloženě před něma maloval a v podstatě ignoroval vůbec jejich přítomnost, jo, kdyby aspoň se s něma třeba prohodil pár slov nebo něco, tak budiš, ale moc příjemný nebyl a když nakonec jsem se tam postavil i já a nechal si podepsat to, co jsem potřeboval, tak přece jenom řada těch autorů je takových, že se snaží, dávám tam třeba věnování, nějaký malý obrázek nebo něco, ale on nedělal nic takového, dal tam jenom takový jako velký klikyhák na stránku, vlastně takhle tak jakoby do boku a to bylo všechno, tak jsem si říkal, není to úplně sympatiák, jako, takže to je za mě trošku zklamání v tomhle směru. No a nakonec jsem si nechal Derricka Robertsona, což je člověk, který toho taky nakreslil spoustu a těch komiksů, které tady v Česku vyšly od něj, toho je mnoho a mnoho. A ten mi kromě jiného prozradil, že série Transmetropolitan se už několikrát drala na filmové plátno, ať už ve formě filmu nebo seriálu, což není úplně nová informace, to se vědělo, nějaké články na tohleto téma najdete. A mě zajímalo, jak to vypadá teďka, a on si tak jako překřížil prsty a říkal, že no, tak už doufám, že už snad se to konečně podaří. Už na to čekám v podstatě 20 let. A mluvil o tom, že v té prapůvodní vizi to vypadalo tak, že toho hlavního hrdinu by mohl stvárnit Patrick Stewart ze Star Treku například. A tak jsem si říkal, jo, to by bylo super, ale říkal, no, ale to bylo před 20 lety. A já už vlastně 20 let se s různýma lidma bavím o tom, že se to sfilmuje. Vždycky to vypadá nadějně a potom to zase někdo zasekne a celé to chcípne. Takže vlastně nevím, jestli se toho někdy dočkáme, ale pořád nepřestávám doufat. Každopádně říkal, že je rád, že se daří konec konců bandě alias The Boys, kteří teďka jsou velkým hitem Amazonu, takže tomu samozřejmě jako vydělává hezky. A Derrick Robertson za mě byl vlastně vůbec nejpříjemnější člověk, který tam byl k vidění, protože já jsem se třeba obecně hodně těšil na Stěpana Seniče, snad to říkám aspoň trošku správně, to jeho složité jméno, a ten mě nakonec zklamal, protože on kreslí fantasticky, já mám hrozně všechny jeho knížky, co tady v Česku vyšly, mám extrémně rád, nechal jsem si všechno podepsat a vždycky on tam udělal jenom takový ten klikyhak a to bylo všechno, což jako není úplně to, co chcete od komiksového kreslíře, že jo, mít tam jenom obyčejný podpis, který vypadá pořád stejně a s bohem, to mě taky úplně nenadchlo, takže z něho jsem byl lehce zklamaný, byť jsem se na něj těšil nejvíc, ale byl to právě Derrick Robertson, který se ukázal jako největší sympatiák a ve finále se mě zeptal, koho z těch jeho hrdinů mám nejradši, tak jsem říkal, jako no v zásadě všechny, ale tak si někoho vyber, tak říkám, no hele, tak asi Punishera. No a tak mi tam napsal jednak věnování, hezky to podepsal a zároveň mi tady nakreslil ještě samotného Punishera, takhle tak jenom čistě pro mě, což mě samozřejmě velmi potěšilo. Není to první taková kresba, kterou mám, i z těch předchozích ročníků se tam objevili různě zajímaví, talentovaní autoři a moc jsem si to užil, ale letos teda z té letošní nadílky to za mě Derrick Robertson rozhodně vyhrál. A ačkoliv jsem měl doma celou řadu jeho komiksů, tak to jeho jméno mi nijak extra nerezonovalo a vlastně jsem ho bral jako jednoho z mnoha, protože víte, pokud koukáte na moje videa pravidelně, že těch komiksů mám fakt jako stovky až tisíce, takže není úplně v lidských silách pamatovat si úplně všechny tvůrce a on teda byl tak trošku pro mě v pozadí a vlastně se přiznám, že mě moc nezajímal upřímně, ale ve finále udělal největší dojem. A co ještě stojí za zmínku, tak je, že mi říkal, že já jsem právě zmiňoval, že si toho jako moc vážím, že se takhle tak posnažil a on říkal jako hele, prostě jasně, protože tady ti organizátoři se k nám jako chovají jako ke králům a fakt jako jsem extrémně spokojený s tím, jak to tady probíhá a moc si to pochvaloval, což zase pokud trošku vidíte do toho pozadí a víte, jaká kauza tady proběhla před pár lety, tak si myslím, že je fajn slyšet, že někdo něco takového zmiňuje a že si to tady pochvaluje. Takže to jsou autoři a my se postupně posuneme k finálnímu dni a zase tady dám nějaké ty sestřihy toho, co tam ještě všechno bylo k vidění a co bylo možné zažít v tom posledním dni.
You did return to Mark Harris from A Man from Atlantis a few years back when he wrote the novel. Basically a very long fanfic. That's what we call when a fan of a show, writes the continuation from his own imagination. What drove you back to A Man of Atlantis?
Well, I did Man from Atlantis from 1976 to 78. And we did the pilot of the first movie, which I thought was really good science fiction. This water-breathing human being, you know, washed up. Where is he from? What's he, you know, what are his powers? What are his abilities, etc.
First Aquaman.
Yeah, basically it was like Aquaman. And then we did 3 more TV movies that were kind of on the same note. But when we went to the series, when we were doing a 1-hour show every day, it turned into a comic book kind of superhero, like the early Batman television show. And I wasn't upset, I was thrilled to have a job. But I thought, oh gosh, I wish we would have explored that real concept of that stranger in a strange land, the Robert Heinlein book, of just how out of place this person is, and what is that life experience, and then how do people try and capitalize on it and use it for their own reasons. But we never did that show, and then it was canceled. But it was always in my mind. And so early on, I wrote maybe 4 pages of just some ideas of what I thought, and then I just let it alone. And it was about 20 years after that I decided to, I had some time off. I was up at where I lived in Oregon, and I had a couple of months, so I thought I'd sit down at my computer and try writing, which I'm not a writer. I've never claimed to be one, and the book may prove it, you know. But I wrote what I thought was the story of the man from Atlantis. And when I got done, I thought, okay, at least I purged that sense of unfulfillment that I had, and I made myself known in terms of my own desires of what the story should be, and I had that one book. And I actually planned on writing 3. It had a triptych idea to it, but the one is enough. And I just decided that now I told my story, and I think now almost 12 people have bought the book. Yeah. So there's 12 people out there that know my story.
I think there will be much more after today. Well, when Dallas ended, you moved to another favorite show of us 90s kids.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Step by Step. Was that a big step for you and the mankind from the drama to comedy?
Well, it was a big step for the audience to accept me doing a situation comedy, as opposed to, you know, I did Man from Atlantis, who was like, boom, and then I did Bobby, who was like, and then, you know, when they asked me to, when it was suggested I did do a half hour, which it was suggested when I left the show the first time, during that 1 year I was off. It was suggested that I do a half hour, and the producers that ended up being the producers of Step by Step, when they were approached about me, they said, yeah, but he's not funny. And I don't blame them. They'd never seen anything like that. But then I went back on Dallas, and when Dallas was canceled, went back to those same producers, and they sent them, I guess you have them here too, the outtakes, the goof reel, the bloopers, the parts that you don't use because everybody's goofing around. And the Dallas producers sent them the goof reel that was just ours to the production company. They went, oh, he can be funny. So they wrote Step by Step. And I walked in, it's very interesting. I walked into the production office of Miller Boyette, who did a lot of half-hour shows. And I was introduced to Suzanne Summers. And we looked at each other, and in my mind I said, oh, you're my new Larry Hagman. And it was true, she and I became dear friends, the best of friends, literally, again, unfortunately, until the day she died. Yeah, they're my dear friends. So I've been very fortunate to, over the course, and actually I did that show, Man from Atlantis, and the woman who was the co-star on that show, Belinda Montgomery, is still a dear friend of mine. So I worked from Atlantis through the end of Step by Step, was 24 years, and I was only out of work for 3 weeks. I had 1 week between Atlantis and Dallas, and 2 weeks between Dallas and Step by Step. So I got to work with my best friend for 24 years.
In all of the Star Wars films, I play a character who is fluent in over 6 million forms of communication. Now, unfortunately, the Czech language is not amongst them. Forgive me if I speak in English, because I know all the people I've met here so far at this wonderful convention speak and understand English. Is that okay? Yeah. But I also have a whole team behind me too, or indeed in front of me, to help do not fall off the stage. Okay. This is a wonderful comic con. So many different subjects, even Star Trek. Just saying. But I am here because of Star Wars. Hands up, anybody in this room who has been in all 9 Star Wars movies? Oh. So I thought I would take this opportunity to let you ask me questions. But then I had a question. Has anybody here not seen the Star Wars movie? You've not seen this? Oh, what is this? Fascinating. Yes. So, what is your... Come here. Just come here. What? Just... What is your name?
Radka.
Is it what?
Radka.
Radka. What is that? Radka. You've never seen a Star Wars film? Why not? Why has Radka never seen a Star Wars movie? Because she's got a life.
Also, I'm also in training. I don't have time for watching Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Well, that puts me in my place. I have wasted the last 48 years of my life. Thank you. Okay, just as a matter of interest, who can explain to Radka what Star Wars is about? Look, you. Just turn this way, just turn this way. Or how would you explain to Radka, who's never seen a Star Wars movie because she's too busy? How would you explain Star Wars? A stormtrooper who doesn't know what Star Wars is. This is embarrassing, isn't it? Are you embarrassing? Oh, I'm sorry. What is Star Wars about?
Star Wars is a very good serial.
It's a good series. Okay, good series. Okay, what is Star Wars about?
Sci-fi fantasy.
Sci-fi fantasy, right? What is Star Wars about?
An epic story.
A big story. You know what Star Wars is about. Okay, Star Wars is about giggling.
It's about wars between the stars.
It's war between the stars. This is. Are you embarrassed? No. Sure. Stormtroopers are really vicious characters, and they're very brave coming over here. And yet we have the sweetest little stormtrooper. I mean, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper? I have to say, come on. Okay, what is Star Wars about?
It's a fight of good against evil.
It's a fight against good and evil. Yes, that classic remark, what is Star Wars about? It's about giggling, it's about a fight between good and evil. Yes, you do extremely well. In fact, you're all wrong. Star Wars is the story of a sensitive robot who is bullied for all the 9 films of the sun. Please. We have some more stage lights, of course. And this is true. Look at every film. He is either ignored or abused or insulted, all torn apart. So, so now you get it, right? Yes. Yes. Anything you're confused about? No? I mean, to do with Star Wars, obviously, there's other things, right? Yes, Rebecca, your moment is over. You had your 15 seconds of fame. So quit. No, you look very good at that. Who has a question that they would like to ask the only person? And actually, if I just tell you something now, all the questions you might want to ask are in fact in a book that I wrote.
Hercules was also important for you because you met your wife there, right?
I did. It was a great dating service for me. Every episode, a pretty girl got to work with. So I met her though, and the very first day was tough. I said, "This is over for me," because I'm pretty good at. I know my marks. I hit my lines, all that stuff. And I couldn't remember my lines the very first thing.
Oh.
Michael's looking. I said, "Michael, help me out." He goes, "You're on your own, man." So 26 years later, we got 3 kids. We're still together. Yeah.
That's amazing. This is not your first time in Czech Republic, because you were also shooting Cole. And that was mainly in Slovakia, but also in Czech Republic. How was the shooting? Like, I know, like, you had the health problems afterwards.
That was afterwards, but I mean, I was excited. It was my first big budget movie, Universal Studios. Universal owned the movie, and they also had the series, so they gave me an extra about a month off from Hercules filming. Because we shot some up here, we shot most of it in Bratislava, and we shot about 3 weeks in Croatia. So it was a really cool experience. I mean, it was a lot of fun to do that. And I got my son, my oldest boy, with me, he's 22, and we were walking over St. Charles Bridge, and I said, in the movie Mission Impossible, this is where John Boyd takes his dad. So it's going to be neat for that. I mean, the history, I love history, guys. I said when I was in college, in high school, I took Russian studies, I took Far Eastern studies. I really wanted to, I love the history. Living over here for 2.5 years, I did travel a lot. And it was great for me to get to Norway. I'm a second generation Norwegian, so I got to see relatives that I'd never met before, when I was traveling over here. So it was a lot of fun. And just to walk around the streets here with these little cobblestone, these brick streets that I know are like 700 years old or something, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. That's when you kind of wish you could time travel and see what it was like back then. Because America wasn't even discovered yet by the Western Europeans by that time, So it was, it's pretty cool, the history of this whole continent here.
So I have actually kind of follow-up question here from the audience,
Right.
which is, have you ever tried like any typical Czech food?
I don't know what would be typical. Like, if you did, I've had food here that wasn't typical American, so I figured it must have been Czech food. But I'm a Midwestern guy, so I'm like a meat and potatoes guy. Give me steak, give me chicken, give me potatoes, I'm a happy guy. I'm horrible at vegetables. I like a good Caesar salad, but I'm not the best at vegetable. So I have to drink a green drink that tastes absolutely horrible, so I figure it's got to be good for me.
I know what my purpose is.
I'll switch topics because we have some Stargate Atlantis.
I did one episode of Stargate Atlantis.
Okay.
One episode. Yep. It's a good time. I don't remember it at all. Joe Flanagan, David was there, a few other people. I had done that, I'd done a couple episodes of The Outer Limits with Brad Wright, was the show creator. And he asked me to do The Outer Limits. I had the Stargate Atlantis. Apparently I die in that.
That happens to
Yeah, some sort of race
some sort of wraith kind of thing. It sucks the life right out of me or something like that. Yeah, that was cool. It was a good gig. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm up here working. And you're texting on your phone. Were you playing a game? Were you playing a game? Yeah, sure. Sitting there. You were Googling? All right, do you have a question? I know what you just Googled. Who the fuck is that guy up there on the stage?
I don't know, if you put it in Google, I do like, who the fuck is this guy?
Up on stage. Did you find out any information? Do you want to ask me a question? Am I making you nervous right now? No.
I must give you an excuse for this.
Who's my favorite actor to work with?
That's a good question.
It's a damn good question. Who is it?
John Cena.
He's good. He's not my favorite. He's good. He's very, very talented. My favorite guy, I've worked with him twice. Just checking to see if you know your stuff. Apparently you don't. I interrupted you, I see, all right. I played his dad once. Did you ever see Walk the Line?
Oh yeah.
About Johnny Cash?
Johnny Cash movie, yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, he's my favorite guy to work with. Because he's just unbelievably talented. Just incredible. Very, very talented guy. Do you guys know who I'm talking about, Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Johnny Cash.
He was also Joker. And we did another movie called Ladder 49 together. So I like Joaquin a lot. I worked with him. Another guy I loved to work with was James Gandolfini. He was The Sopranos, Tony Soprano. Yeah, he's a good guy. You guys know? You guys get that show here, The Sopranos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Někdo viděl Sopranos?
Do you have any other questions?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
What was it like to work on Sopranos?
I just said it was great.
Covered? Okay.
That's covered. It was a great experience.
You often play soldiers.
Why is that?
I'm asking you.
I'm asking you.
Because you look tough. That's my question.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I have a lot of military in my family. My grandfather was a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army, and then my family has been in the military all the way back to the Revolutionary War. So maybe that's got something to do with it. I've played every branch of the military, except for the Space Force. Why are you laughing at that? It's a real deal. The Space Force is for real. It's a real part of the armed forces in America. I don't know what the fuck they do, but they're there.
Thank you for patience.
This is pretty esoteric stuff. Is this okay?
It's interesting.
No, that's my dad. I'm just Michael.
Okay, Michael. Did you, because you said you wrote a play when you were a teenager, did you envision though that you would go on to you playing such dark and menacing roles, and do you like playing those kind of roles? And second, what role was the most satisfying or fulfilling for you as an actor? Because even when you play a hero, like in V or in Starship Troopers, you're still kind of a really dark character. And yeah, so I wondered if that's something you like.
Do you know anything about acting in the circus? You don't get to cheer, well, I want to play that role. Not that one, I want to play that one over there. I want to get the girl, and I want to wear all the fancy clothes and ride the fancy car. No, that's not the way it is. You get the job that they offer you. When I was early enough in my career, I was offered what I refer to as dog eating parts. You know, you get to eat the dog. And Donald Pleasance, I mentioned this yesterday, Donald Pleasance, an English actor. You know who Donald Pleasance was? All right, wonderful English actor. Everyone knows him from Scream, is it? Or
Halloween.
Halloween, yeah. He's probably got about 30 or 40 brilliant but English films behind him. But he said to me, he said, Michael, he says, and this is very early in my career, he says, if you kill a dog on camera and somebody makes money for it, that's all they want you to do is kill dogs for the rest of your career. Now the dog might become Damien Evans, and the thing you kill it with might be a stock market, might be an educational thing, it might be, you know, a car. He says, but they're really, it says, there's a lot of money goes into films, and he says, they don't want you to take risks. So they pay me lots of money to play these evil motherfuckers who go out and kill people. And then I go and play softer characters and grandfathers and priests and stuff in lower budget films. I am so grateful to have the career I've had and still have, based upon being a dog eater. You know, no matter how big the dog gets, even if it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, he's a wonderful guy, by the way. So it's not like you get to choose. If you get too full of yourself in this industry, you don't work. You know, you really don't work. And what was the rest of that question?
What role for you was the most fulfilling for you as an actor?
I have no fucking idea. They're like my children. I told somebody else that the other day. They're like children. You know, how do you pick your favorite kid? You know? How do you pick your favorite... My wife's saying, how do you pick the greatest time you had in bed with your wife? They're all great, but some of them are really good. Do you know what I mean? The best film is the next one. I'm going to do a film they're raising money for it. It's called No Country Without Horses. It's an Australian film, and they're having problems raising money for it because it deals with pedophilia and violence towards children and really important subject matter. And they're having a hard time raising $1.5 million to do this film, which is nothing. And I'm hoping to get enough from some really reports. But that's the one I'm most excited about. That's the one I'm most proud of. Because it's a story that needs to be told. Does that make sense? Absolutely. Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, Sergeant.
Thank you. Drink more water so you will smell better.
You can't drink too much water because then you have to eat. And that's trouble too. So you have to, I mean, that's a real thing to work around when you're on set, for sure.
We have definitely, it takes me far less time to get ready to be the armor than it does for anything where you see my face.
Yeah.
We've gotten it down to about 10 minutes to put on the entire thing the first time, but then there are pieces, they're all separate pieces, and they attach usually with Velcro. So we've also broken it down to, okay, how much do we really need to detach before I can be free enough to go to the bathroom? And so like redoing it when I'm already wearing part of it is maybe only like 4 minutes. It's great. I have to sit in hair and makeup for like 2 hours. It takes me more time to get ready to come here in the morning than to get ready to be the armorer.
So armor is very important for Mandalorian. So I guess the second most important one would be the cleaner. The one who cleans, you know.
Yeah, we never see that character.
Hero.
The dark underbelly. Yeah.
I just have to use the force. There's not equanimity in the film business. The cleaner never gets no accolades, doesn't have any kind of card on the no credits, nothing.
Nothing. Perfect.
Well, I now have some separate questions for each of you. And I've got a question for you, Brendan. Because, there are some rumors about who plays who, but how many people actually do play random? How many people had the real costume on?
I mean, I had stand-ins, so we've had at least 2 stand-ins with Barry and Stephen, and then last year Brent. So we've had 3, and then the team and I, so there's 5, and then, Pedro, but he luckily does not have to wear the helmet. So, that makes a big difference. But I mean, there's, majority of it, there's 2 guys who do. And then there's some fill-ins who are great and do their work very well.
Mm-hmm. And do each of you have your separate costume, or in the sake of authenticity?
No, we all have a separate costume. We do not share. That is they were talking about, at one point they were talking about trying to, mind you, the biggest production company in the world, they're trying to save some money by sharing helmets. And I was like, you're out of your mind. I'm not, I've smelled the team's breath, I've smelled my breath. I'm good. I don't need to no rules. We're good.
Yeah, you don't get to take any of it home. Well, it's not allowed to forever, but you're not allowed to take it home.
It's not stealing if you don't get caught. I'm kidding, children out there.
Well, I've got a question for Emily, because there's one thing that I love about Mandalorians, and that is, it's obviously a matriarch. How sweet it is to boss around all of these, big guys in their fancy suits and the Pedro and everyone.
My suit is the fanciest stuff.
Oh, fanciest.
She is the most fashionable. I mean, she's around fire all the time, and yet she wears fur, which is an interesting choice. And so I decided, either she's a slave to fashion, she's that confident in her skills that she knows she's not going to touch fire, or it's some non-flammable space creature that she killed. But the thing is, when we are actually doing takes where we're using fire, because we do sometimes, I have 3 people with fire extinguishers ready to jump on me if even a spark lands on the fur.
It's not about Emily, they don't want to lose money.
Yeah, they don't want to lose the costume. I know my place.
And the bossing around of the guys, how do they like it? How do they take it?
Well, they're very respectful. And she, I think that what I love about her is that she carries her authority with tremendous respect for other people and patience. She is very patient. I mean, and she's not self-serving. So I think that that's one of the reasons that they trust her. I think they trust that she truly does want what is best for the rest of the Mandalorians, which is why it was so sad to me when people thought she might be a traitor. But we never suspect anyone's really good, I guess. But I think that's why they are so lovely and respectful of her, because she's not a jerk about it,
I disagree. I think the reason why we're all respectful, and I think we saw it at the end of season 1, is that she will just beat us to death. Like she did all this.
You have to hammer for emergencies.
I mean, you double hammered them. Those people
You
actually.
hammer and tongs them.
Yeah, I mean, that's nothing good about a tonguing.
Depends how you pronounce it. Also, I'm kind of for him as well.
Yeah, that's
right.
right.
It becomes all of that, and the ideals and the ethos that, she's the holder of that. And then I think that we're all happy to subscribe to that and get reminded every now and then about what our course is for the best of everybody. I love that about the Mandalorian creed.
Yeah, and she doesn't silence him or me as we both challenge what the creed really means. So that's also, it's interesting she doesn't decide that, well, you don't conform to whatever it is, blah, 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 get out. She has standards, and then we push the limits like little kids, and she's able to kind of keep us in. And it's nice. It's a reminder to always keep the conversation going.